So everyone, we're back today for the second time looking at a fun video today. Not a serious video, just a little fun, a little laugh. Looking at the past 4 CFS runs. These are yesterday's 6Z, 12Z and 18Z runs and this morning's 0Z run. Looking at what they show for the next 6 months, it gets us to the point just before Christmas. So we'll see the early part of the winter period. So let's see what they show. Again, any forecast beyond 10 days is highly unreliable. And this is just for a laugh and a little Sunday spare time spending session. Jesus. Anyway, so I'll start off with a 6Z run. We can see up comes that ridge that we've been mentioning for ages now. It's finally looking like it's materializing. Check out our earlier video about that. Moving forwards, we can see that the ridge goes towards Scandinavia, as we've been saying a lot. It breaks down around mid-July. CFS has a go again at getting very warm, but that goes away. We go westerly for the latter part of July and even northerly for a time. That looks changeable into August. Quite warm but unsettled, as we do see some ridging towards the south and east. But really, in general, I think that low pressure will be the key factor here until maybe around August 8th and 9th. But again, that is short-lived. In comes this next area of low pressure, so going cooler again. Mid-August, warmer, but still wet, and very wet by the 16th. Deep area of most of the west. Jet stream is getting stronger. It looks thoroughly autumnal. But that's short-lived. Back to the Azure side, making an attempt to rise. And it does actually do quite well by August 26th. We get a late summer blast of heat there, maybe. Into early September, that breaks down. Briefly, temporarily, but that high is stubborn. In September, it often happens. Summer clings on by its fingertips, but those are strong fingertips, and the lows often have a hard time to break it down. Anyway, so we end up with easterly winds. That'll be warm in early September. Beyond that, by the end of the first week of September, I think we're going more. I think we're going more westerly and autumnal. So deepening areas of low pressure rule the roost towards mid-month. Yes, strong jet stream until mid-month when it changes again to high pressure from the south. We see a brief blocking pattern there as well, but I think the Azure side is too strong and it does fend it off. Towards the end of the month here, we go more westerly again. Very changeable September, classic September. Summer's fighting back, but autumn insists that it's going to keep coming down until it does win through. Yes, definitely some very deep, vigorous lows forming to the north by the end of September. You can see chunky areas of highs to the south, struggling to hold on, but being slowly but surely edged to the south. We go into October on this run. We start under high pressure, quite mild and dry, and that seems to be the case for a while. Actually, that's quite decent until we go more northerly by the 10th, and I think that's quite a dry first half really to October. Could be cool by night. Could be cool, but by day I think quite mild. If it's cloudy, both day and night are mild, should I say, and by the end of the month, we're going more wet again. Wet and mild. Deluge pattern. Sorry, that was short-lived. I thought that would last longer than it did, actually. We're back to high pressure by the end of the month. Or not. By Halloween, it's going colder, actually. Oh, actually, yeah. So going into early November... Right, guys, just say that I am not the person who actually goes and looks at these first. I'm blind. I don't know what's coming up. That's interesting. Hang on. You got cold edge to the north, low coming through, jet stream southerly tracks. Could that be a very early snowfall for parts of the Midlands? I wonder. Remember last year we did see snow quite widely in November as well, but that was more later in the month anyway. Beyond that, it goes drier and colder by mid-month. Then it goes wetter and windier. Yeah. Blocking by the 1st of December. That's quite mild because we're on the wrong side of it. It's not strong enough. That low to the south is still churning up the wind from the south and southeast. Beyond that, do we drop in a northerly? Yes, I think we do. So to get a cold December pattern here. By the 9th of December, we're into a properly cold air mass there. That could easily bring snow to the south as well. That I was struggling, but it does get through. So probably a snow event widely around the 9th to the 11th of December. And even still, we get a brief cold snap by the 14th. Just say brief for the north, that's what belongs. Even by the 16th, that for the north day could be a snow event. Yeah, I think that's a snow event for the north on the 16th. Now, just eye candy, but by the 19th, we're back into another northerly shot. What an epic December that would be if it came off. Here's the CFS 12 third run. So, again, what we can see is this high region in, as we know so well, breaks down by mid-July, but it comes back for a while anyway. Into the end of the month westerly, we're back to the usual. August starts off a bit changeable and unsettled. It stays that way until the 10th of the month. A brief ridge, but it collapses. Back to westerly winds. By the end of August, we try and see a brief ridge forming, but it fails and becomes blocking. And we put on a northerly wind. September starts under low pressure. Really, this run so far, nothing much to be excited about. It's a lot of low pressure around, really, through early September. But that's a transient ridge, really, or not. It brings up quite a nice ridge by mid-September. It's centered over us into the north. It could be a bit chilly by night. By day, not too bad if it's sunny. By the end of the month, I keep saying by the end of the month, even though we're still 10 years away. Sorry about that. By the 19th, it's going very warm. Possibly just a late burst of heat there. What did I do? Sorry about that. But yeah, so we go beyond that. It stays for a while. Quite a nice late September spell. We go into early October. Go more westerly. Yes, we do. Yeah, so October goes cold even. Northerly winds and blocking. Beyond that, we get a high pressure again. It's a lot of mishmashing here. Autumn, I think really both rows are showing classic autumns. Maybe the earlier one a bit more classic because it's got more of the stronger Azores to the south. The Azores is a key feature of our autumns recently, I feel. It's trying to move in, but the Atlantic is trying to dislodge it. Either way, by the end of November, once again, got this big long... End of November, did I say? Yeah, big long fetch southwesterly winds coming through. December starts as mild as it gets, really, with the long fetch southerly winds. God. Yeah, so easterly winds temporarily, maybe, by the 8th of December. Yeah, there is a cold pool there. It actually does stay quite cold. Not as cold as the last one was, but this one still is quite dry, quite frosty, quite decent for December. But of course, this one was the epic December. Let's see what the 18Z brings. So the 18Z, as we know, looking quite nice for the coming week. This is the only part that's reliable. Beyond that, we see a brief little ridge by July 17th. It looks flimsy. Westerly winds by the end of the month. Yeah, we go into the end of the month. Yeah, August starts off westerly, stays westerly until the 11th. Is it just me, or do all these runs show high pressure by around the 10th of August? Even if it's only flimsy, this pattern, I feel like I've seen this quite a few times on that same day. Beyond that, westerly winds stays shite, and into the end of the month, we look fine enough. It's a weak ridge, but probably still showery. September starts westerly. Yeah, we stay westerly until mid-month to go a bit dry and warmer. Inevitably, I feel like September always has a dry and warm spell. I feel like it always does. It's a classic September pattern. Yeah, look at that. It's back again by the 19th. It's pushed away quickly by the 20th or so on. What happens there? We stay quite warm, southerly winds for the final third of September. October starts off dry and quite mild, but quickly that's pushed away by deepening lows to the north. October's quite westerly. October's, especially after a dry September, October's generally quite wet, I feel like. Go into the end of the month, Halloween looks average, not too bad. November looks just like general classic westerly milds. Nothing much to write home about, really, until the 23rd. That is when we see a Scandinavian high pushing in. There isn't much colour at all to the east, though, so that isn't really much to get excited about. But in general, the pattern is more exciting towards the end of November here. We do see blocking towards Green in Iceland. Now that's by December 1st, guys. We're getting colder. December looks a bit colder, maybe a bit of winteriness, but it's not overly cold. Go into the... Actually, no. Now, in general, the CFS runs have been... I was going to say, in general, the CFS runs have been going for quite cold patterns for December. I take it back. By December, what happens? That's a glitch. That is not relevant. That is what's relevant. This is relevant. By the 17th, got high pressure to the south. Yeah, spoke too soon. Whatever. Anyway, so CFS midnight run. As we know, we got that hot weather, warm weather coming up next week. Beyond that, it stays quite nice for July, really. August starts off changeable. It stays changeable, really, until around mid-month. It goes nicer for a bit, then goes changeable back again. September starts off under a deep area of low, but that is short-lived. Up comes the Azores high, big chunk of high pressure, warm and dry until mid-month. Go more northerly. Very changeable, this. Obviously it's changeable because we're going through a big time frame, but go from like warm and dry to northerly winds. Warm and dry, Azores high, and then that was blocking. September, that's quite interesting because often in the autumn, patterns that you see can like hint at the pattern in the winter time. So, just a thought. Okay, obviously this won't materialize. Anyway, the last part of September starts off quite nice, but it does transition to a more autumnal pattern there. October begins very autumnal, as that's the definition really of that. Awesome. October begins with the definition of October. Low pressure. Beyond that, we go into high pressure, surprisingly, but easterly winds, so a bit chilly. Again, as I said, what we see in the autumn could hint at the winter pattern. So November goes westerly, a few northerly snaps here and there. Going to the start of December, let's see what happens here. Westerly, southerly, southwesterly. You know what? Yeah, like this one kinda. December quite cold. This one flips on it. I was hoping to say that we'd have a trend for cold Decembers, but I can't do that anymore. Hope you enjoyed this little more chill video, just a bit of eye candy. Let me know what you want out of these 6 months. Bye for now.